thunder of hooves on springing turf. The excitement of the jumps ahead. And now it's up and over. No, 4 faults. But it's this joint adventure of horse and rider and the thrill of watching it that has made show jumping Britain's fastest growing sport. It's still basically the world of the amateur. Here's Mr. Bunn of Sussex, one of Britain's keenest riders, making a critical decision. He's on the lookout for a possible champion, and he's been offered a horse with the splendidly musical name of Beethoven. Beethoven is a young horse as show jumpers go, an unbroken brown Irish gelding. Most horses begin their serious jumping career when they're 5 years old, but a good jumper can go on until he's 15 or more. So it's important to be absolutely certain of your horse before you buy him. Mr. Bunn tries him himself. Successful show jumping is a partnership between horse and rider. Remember Colonel Llewellyn on Foxhunter and Pat Smythe on Flanagan. Well, now it could be Mr. Douglas Bunn on Beethoven. But these dreams still lie in the future. Beethoven is carefully checked over and examined by the vet. Although you can buy a horse and have a lot of fun in small shows for 50 to 80 pounds, Mr. Bunn will certainly have to pay more for Beethoven. Class jumpers vary from £100 for an untrained colt up to about £3,000 for a real champion. Some world beaters could even fetch £25,000. Now comes the critical moment. Beethoven goes home to face the family, and especially the women folk. In the vast expansion of riding since the war, Britain's women have played a leading part. In 1947, there were only 300 riding schools in Britain. Today, there are 1,700, and over 50 new ones open every year. The vast majority of their patrons are women and girls. Beethoven is approved by the family, and now he's ready for the attention of the farrier. Here again is an occupation which before the war was almost extinct, and now has a new lease of life. He fits Beethoven with special light aluminium plates. Now comes the start of the long weeks of serious training. Mr. Bunn has Beethoven on the lunge, a long lead that gets him into the habit of moving freely. Horses get used to being led on the left-hand side, and it's important that when he's in the show ring, Beethoven should feel free to move in any direction. Now comes training over the jumps. Down at Hickstead near Brighton, there's plenty of space to give Beethoven a good workout, and the horse certainly shows plenty of spirit. He'll need all he has when he enters really stiff competition in a modern show ring. He'll have to tackle jumps such as the stone wall. In championships, this can be 5 feet 6 inches high, and the water jump, 16 feet wide with a 2-foot-high fence on the takeoff side. Maybe Beethoven may not equal the highest jump ever put up by a British horse, 7 feet 6.5 inches, but he seems to have the makings of a real good one. Back in the stables, you can see some of the good features that put him into a possible championship class. Well-arched neck and sloping shoulders. Short, strong back. Well-made hocks. And now a look at his quarters. Again, strong, with what they call a good second thigh. And above all, a bold eye and an intelligent face. And now the final touch before leaving for the show, plaiting his mane. And extra protection. Away goes Beethoven for his first show. And within a year, out of the 29 horses which reached the Foxhunter final at the Horse of the Year show at Wembley, Beethoven emerged the winner. But it's not only the horse that must look smart. The rider feels that he must live up to the reputation of his mount, and he can get fitted out basically for about £30. Here in London's Oxford Street, a rider chooses his outfit as he prepares to join the 2,000 adult riders who compete every year in the show rings of Britain. Show jumping clothes owe a great deal to the style of the hunting field. Above all, the modern rider buys a hard hat, the rider's version of a crash helmet. Now to the showground. Today there are over 1,000 shows held every year in Britain. Successful riders can make good prize money, but backstage, most of the work has to be put in by voluntary enthusiasts. Compared with some of the bigger sports of Britain, soccer for instance, show jumping costs are comparatively modest. The little extra bits of equipment cost the owner money, of course. For instance, these special rubber shoes to protect the horse on the jumps, and the most expensive item of equipment, the saddle. A good saddle should be specially made to suit both the horse and the customer. Here again, in a top-level London saddler's, the craftsmen are at work. The leather used is Scottish pigskin for the actual seat, and Argentine leather tanned in this country for the flaps. This craftsman, working on the now comparatively rare side saddle and stuffing it with pure wool, has had over 60 years' experience. Saddles with this craftsmanship in them can cost up to £55. And now, the last part of the process, fixing in the panel. The panel is matched to the pigskin of the seat. It's worth spending money and time on the saddle. It can make all the difference to both horse and rider in giving them confidence over the jumps. Here the horse is ready, the saddle has been tried out, and the owner is girthing it up. And now horse and rider are off to the showground. Once he's in the ring, the keen amateur rider feels that all the trouble is worthwhile. There's nothing quite like the thrill of putting a horse at a stiff jump and feeling him take it in his stride. Throw your heart over first, the experts advise you. But in modern show jumping, the horse has to be as great-hearted as his rider. And as the crowds flock to the show rings and watch that perfect understanding between horse and rider, it's easy to see why show jumping is a magnet for the young riders of Britain. Who knows, one day they too may be a Pat Smythe or an Alan Oliver. They too may see on their sideboard at home one of the great show jumping trophies of the world.